my next guest is a guy we haven't had on in a while. I love this guy. And he's down in Florida. He's been going to a lot of the spring training. He was just recently at the Yankees spring training and living the life because he's a talented writer. He gets to hang out and have some fun. I don't know if he gets the kind of ass the players get, but he seems to be a good guy, and we'll ask him about all those things. Here's Mike Ferrin. Mike, what's up?
How are you, Artie? It's good to be on with you again.
Did you ever have a threesome with a player?
No. I mean, no, at least not during spring training.
Very professional of you. So you're a fan.
You got to try and not mix business and pleasure as much as you can.
Well, you never had a threesome with like you, Barry Bonds, and Tony Bosch? A steroid-fueled threesome?
You know what? I prefer my drug dealers to be a little bit more above board.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I prefer my drug dealers not to go on 60 Minutes. What's the sign of a bad drug dealer? When he goes on 60 Minutes.
Right.
When you meet a drug dealer,
really.
No, when you meet, I know, Mike, you're
yeah,
Mike, you're not a scumbag like me, so you don't know this world. But I'll be honest with you. Maybe you don't. I'll say it plainly. When you strike up a relationship with a drug dealer, there's an unwritten sort of promise that neither of you will discuss the relationship on 60 Minutes. And that was broken.
You know, if you can't trust your drug dealer, who can you trust?
Absolutely. Well, so let's see. You were at the Yanks. Give me the Yanks rundown. I'm a Yankee fan. Tanaka, McCann getting a lot of attention. Catcher, what's going on there?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was there yesterday, so of course that meant I get to see David Phelps pitch. I didn't get to see any of the exciting Yankees in that game. Listen, I think they're going to be a pretty good team. I've been a big Brian McCann fan for a long time, and I think he's, until he hurt the shoulder a couple of years ago, you could make the argument that he was on a Hall of Fame pace based on what he'd done offensively at catcher, and I think he's underrated as a defender, too.
Right.
Beltran, obviously, New Yorkers know Beltran from his time with the Mets. He's been one of the best postseason performers over the last, over postseason history. I mean,
yeah.
He's fantastic. Ellsbury is a star level player, and he may not have that 30 homer season he had a couple of years ago, but he's still a dynamic offensive force. And beyond that, I mean, you mentioned Tanaka. I mean, the reports on him, they've gotten better each start out. And the other guy is Michael Pineda, who they traded for a couple of years ago, has missed 2 seasons with a shoulder injury, but is only 25. Mm-hmm. And the early reports on him were great. So, this is, I think, last year's team overachieved in a lot of respects. I think this is a pretty darn good team. The biggest question mark they have is in their bullpen. And I don't even have a question about Robertson finishing games. It's getting the ball to him that's the big question right now.
Well, obviously, as a Yankee fan, it's the first year without Rivera, and you're always a little stressed about that. Nobody's going to be him. And, Tanaka, look, if he could be just a fraction of what that money indicates, he's going to be a real ace. That's, you can reckon with. And hopefully, like the other guys you mentioned, maybe there'll be a surprise there. But on the offensive side, I like the Beltran. I love that pickup, man. I always like Carlos Beltran. That 1 year with Houston in the playoffs before he signed with the Mets, that postseason, mm-hmm. He had that lefty swing at Yankee Stadium. After last year, I'm excited. And the biggest thing, no A-Rod, no distractions. And you get to watch every team give Derek Jeter a Corvette. So, it's crazy. Right.
I mean, for once he gets the gift basket, he's not giving it away on his way out the door.
Right.
I do think that the one question is I think there are certainly questions about the infield overall. I mean, Teixeira's coming off, wrist injury, and that can sap power. But, how many games is Jeter going to be able to play at shortstop, I think is a legitimate question to ask.
Yeah.
And what's he going to be when he does play?
Right.
You certainly hope, I think whether you're a Yankee fan or not, I mean, everybody respects the hell out of Derek Jeter, so you certainly want to see him go out at as close as you can remember to Derek Jeter. And I don't think this is going to be like Joe Namath with the Rams or OJ with the Niners, something like that.
That was anticlimactic. Even what Jordan did to himself with the Wizards.
Yeah, with the Wizards, right? I mean, it's not going to be something like that. But, how much is he going to be able to play short? Because they really don't. I mean, Brendan Ryan's a good defender, but he can't hit it all.
No, it's not exciting. It's not exciting.
Brian Roberts has played 180 games over the last 4 years combined, and he's going to be their second baseman. So, I mean, there's still plenty of question marks there. But, I agree with you. I think that not having the Alex Rodriguez thing weighing over I don't think that really affected the clubhouse all that much. They didn't get much production out of third base overall until he came back last year. And I think Kelly Johnson, who's no great shakes, is going to be an upgrade certainly over what they had before that because they just weren't very good. But it's just going to be one less thing that we have to focus on from the outside and watching the whole, you know
what, Mike? That's the only thing you said that I kind of disagree with. I think it's going to be huge that a-hole isn't there. I think it's enormous, especially for Jeter. Especially for Jeter.
No, those guys aren't affected by it.
Mike, I'm hanging up on you. No, listen, especially for Jeter, it takes no attention away from his situation, and he's just a boob. I mean, you got to watch your back. A-Rod might bang your girlfriend, for crying out loud. That's the kind of scumbag he is.
Yeah, but I think once you get into the clubhouse and you're getting ready for a game, it's not a big issue. I think we make more out of it than it really is. I mean, really.
Here's what I don't trust about.
Talking about it, he wasn't around for 4 months last year. So.
Here's what I don't trust about A-Rod: those pillowy pink lips. Your thoughts?
I missed what you said.
His pillowy pink lips. Those pink lips he has. Those like the two pink pillows. Your thoughts on that?
I actually have a centaur painting of A-Rod.
I figured that. No, listen, here's why the Jeter thing and not take. As a Yankee fan, I'm going to try like hell to go to the last home game this year, because how many players can you really, truly say this about? It will be a pleasure to get up and give him a 20-minute standing ovation, Jeter. I mean, I can't wait for that. It's just, I'm looking forward to that. No matter what, the Yankee season is going to be fun at the end, whether we make the playoffs or not, because we'll get to say goodbye to him properly. I mean, how many people are on that level?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're really hard-pressed to find that. I mean, I think if when you add into it the mystique of the Yankees and the fact that he was the captain of the team and all of the kind of Jeter-esque moments that there are, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, what, like maybe when Dr. J retired? I mean, really, I'm trying to think back to when the last time you had something like that. I don't even think when Cal Ripken retired, there was that same kind of feel to it. That you would have with Jeter, because I think you have to, whether you like him or like the Yankees or not, you have to admit that there's a mystique that goes with them because they have all the rings. And so, I think that's going to be a huge event. And I think it's going to be, one of those things where the stadium is packed. It's going to be thousands of dollars a ticket. And 10 years from now, 2 million New Yorkers are going to say they were there the day that Jeter hung out.
Absolutely. I mean, the only negative, of course, I remember one time you told me off the air that you didn't like the fact that the Yankees had a non-white captain, but you're over that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've gotten past that.
Okay, good. I mean,
it's a new age.
Mike, listen, to admit that and to get over it is a very big thing, but sure. Of course, that's a joke.
I'm growing as a person.
So let's talk about the other teams that you saw. Any huge surprises around the league?
I don't know about surprises. I'll tell you what, the kid that played third base for the Red Sox in the World Series last year, who's going to be their shortstop this season, Xander Bogaerts, is going to be really, really good.
Yeah, okay. That sucks to hear.
That's a guy that, I know it makes you a little bit nervous from that standpoint as a Yankee fan, but Bogaerts is going to be a really good player. I've talked to a couple of different people that I really trust this week, or people that I respect their opinion, who, of all the teams in the East, though, and this is basically, I saw all the American League East teams in the last week, a lot of people like Tampa, and I think Tampa's the best team overall in that division. There are a couple that really like Baltimore.
Right.
They added Nelson Cruz, they added Ubaldo Jimenez, they're in on Irvin Santana still. They've got a great young pitcher in Kevin Gausman, who I had a scout just rave about the other night, his performance against the Red Sox. So they know it's spring training, but this is a guy that's got a very high ceiling. So I think that division is going to be very, very difficult overall. And I think that's maybe my biggest takeaway from the first 9 days in Florida was, and hitting those camps, that it's going to be a real dogfight in the American League East, because every team has done something to improve themselves over where they were last year, except for Toronto. And Toronto, by being healthy, is just going to be a better team, overall than they were last year. I think they're probably the fifth best team in that division, but they're not a team that you're going to want to play because they're going to score a lot of runs.
Hey, Mike, how do you feel like the new instant replay system is working out?
Good question. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think it's been okay. I'm not going to know until we actually see it implemented in games. I want to see what happens when we actually get a call overturned. I think we've had, I'm guessing off the top of my head, we've had probably, 15 challenges or so over the last week and a half, and I don't remember any of them being overturned. And they're using fewer camera angles in spring training, certainly. But I think the one thing that you talk to people who've done it, and I had a chance to talk to John Gibbons, who's Toronto's manager, when we were in their camp, and he was the first one to challenge, and he actually challenged twice in one game. He said the one thing that was most encouraging was how quickly they made a decision.
Yeah, that's big. That's going to be big. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's focused on the pace, right? And for the most part, the manager arguing with the umpire has taken longer than the review has. So you really want to shorten up the game. You're really concerned about it. Get the manager out there, get him to challenge, get it moving along, because then it really won't disrupt it that much. It's going to look a little weird at first, but until we see this really play out over the next couple of years, I don't think we're going to have a firm grasp of it. And that's the other thing, is that even when they implemented this, Joe Torre, kind of the point man for it, said, "Listen, we're going to take a look at this off season again, and then the next off season, and after 3 seasons, we're going to have a really good idea of what our replay should look like." So they are not going to just say, "This is our program, sink or swim." They're going to tweak it the next couple of years. I think that's a really smart way to go about it.
I got 2 questions, one here in the East and one out West, but I'll start with the Dodgers. I saw that Brian Wilson, everyone was making a big deal out of the fact that he's throwing knuckleballs now. What is the word on his repertoire of pitches? Is he changing it up at this stage in his career? And is he a good knuckleball?
You could add 15 years to your career.
I don't think Brian Wilson's going to be a knuckleballer. I think floating one up there now and then to get it in the hitter's head, is kind of a fun idea. But listen, he was throwing 94 to 96 in the playoffs last year. He looked really, really sharp. I'd be more concerned about the fact that there's a trainer that came out to the mound during his appearance today, and then after that he got knocked around. So, we didn't get any word from the Dodgers that there was anything significant going on, but that I would be more worried about than where the knuckleball is with him. I think it's just kind of something for fun and to break up the monotony of spring training. I would be, if he uses a knuckleball in a key situation, he's either got the biggest stones in the world or he's the biggest fool. Right. If he gets beat on that pitch, that's really dumb.
That's fun. It's a fun choice, but you're right. It could be really dumb.
And what's the word on Ryan Sandberg in Philly? What kind of job is he going to do there?
That's a great question, John. I'm not sure what kind of job he's going to do there, mainly because his team is really old. And I think that's part of the problem, is that their offensive stars are all pretty much past their prime, and their youngest, kind of key starting pitcher in Hamels is dealing with a shoulder issue that may sideline him into the first part of the season.
Wow,
that said, there's been a much more significant attention to detail in spring training than what I've seen the last couple of years. And I hate to say this because I love Charlie Manuel, who's the guy who replaced Charlie's somebody I know very well, and he's one of my favorite storytellers in baseball. And he's just a real character and a really great guy. But they needed to be a little bit. I think it was just time for a change of voice. And there's been a freshness to the work that they've done. And with Sandberg is Larry Boaz as bench coach. And they were asking Jimmy Rollins about this a couple of weeks ago. He says, "How's Camp Sandberg?" He said, "Camp Sandberg is great. Camp Boaz is killing me." Larry Boaz is working specifically Jimmy Rollins very, very hard. I don't have any real expectations for where the Phillies are. Maybe they can kind of sneak into the mix. The Braves have just been crushed by starting pitching injuries in the last 48 hours. If those end up being significant with Medlin and at all with Beachy, although it doesn't sound like Beachy is significant, then maybe it means that the Phillies, have a better chance to kind of get that second spot in the East and maybe get into the wild card. But I'm not sure that we're going to know in the win-loss record what Ryan Sandberg's true talent level as a manager, just based on the personnel that they have.
Mike, here's a quick, towards the end here, I want to ask you a quick pop culture, fun sort of pop culture question, and this is the direction I've been wanting to go with the show more and more with people like you. If Ryan Sandberg and Ryan Seacrest switched jobs, who do you think would be better at what they do?
Oh, man,
Again, this is just a fun direction I'm thinking of going with the show.
Yeah, I like where your head's at with this.
Just a fun thought.
Sandberg is older, but he's handsome, kind of on the level of Seacrest. So I feel like he could do that job.
Whatever, Liberace.
American Idol. I don't know that he could host a morning show. I mean, that's my real question. Are you talking about Sandberg taking over all of Seacrest's jobs, or just the high-profile TV gig?
Just producing the Kardashians.
Kardashians. No, I think Sandberg can handle the Kardashians. I mean, listen, he's far more natural than Bruce Jenner is. So,
who isn't?
Yeah.
Joan Rivers is more natural than Bruce Jenner.
Yeah.
So, I think he'd be a better fit for TV than Seacrest. I'm not sure that the pouty lips would play as well in the Phillies dugout.
Thanks for again, just a fun direction I'm thinking of going. I'm going to end this with Mike. I'm glad you like it. Mike Buschetti, I'm going to let you end the segment. Ask one baseball question. Try to keep it. Try to make it current and intelligent.
Okay. Who's your favorite player right now?
That's the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard. Mike, thanks for joining us. I'm sorry. That's the most embarrassing. A 2-year-old would have asked me. Mike, that's the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard. Shut his mic off. Mike, listen. When are you coming back from Florida?
I'm actually back for a couple days now, and then I go back again on Friday. So I'm going to be home for good, like the 21st.
All right, brother. Stay away from Crazy Tail down there.
I'm doing my best. Listen, I'm just trying to avoid the buffets and keep out of the way of the old people on the road.
All right, brother. Great job, Mike.
Always good to talk to you guys.
See you later. Who's your favorite player?
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.